Show has time. Looks for Deutsch. Deutsch at the one into the end zone.
Comes on to serve. Dug out by Bishop. This to the middle and slamming one home for...
And free ball to the crossover. Eilertson will get the pass for Holly. Set up left side. Rusted down with the kill.
He'll play action now. Look to pass over the middle. It's intercepted by Cole Hebel. Intercepted by Hebel, and he brings it back.
Set it up, Bostena left side. Big kill blocked at the net. Kept alive by the Greyhounds.
Fetting's got room, and here's Bo Fetting. Fetting's still on his feet. Fetting's gone. Bo.
The Your Live Event Coaches Show is presented by the Hillsborough Economic Development Committee.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show here on YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Joe Lancello. Tonight we'll be talking to a couple of North Dakota champion coaches. Josh Lunak, coach of the Grand Forks Red River boys tennis team, and Andy Foss, the coach of the West Fargo Packers, who won the North Dakota boys soccer championship last weekend. We'll also have some high school volleyball talk. Leah Newton from West Fargo Cheyenne, the Mustangs, off to a great start this season. And also we'll talk to Alyssa Kasowki from Central Cass. We'll start things off with football, though. In a little bit, we'll talk with Scott Roehrich, the coach of Valley City, the number one ranked team in North Dakota 11A football this week once again. But starting off with John Clark Jr., the coach of the MAHNOMEN-WAUBUN Thunderbirds.
Welcome back to the Coaches Show, brought to you by Hillsborough EDC. I'm Joe Lancello, joined by John Clark Jr., the coach of the MAHNOMEN-WAUBUN Thunderbirds, who are off to a nice start this year, 6-0, as they're coming off a win over Foss last Friday, 33-12. John, talk about your season.
Kind of a typical season so far. I don't know that we've played our best football yet, but, we brought back some experience on the offensive and defensive line, so that's kind of been what we've hung our hat on. Our linemen really get off the ball well. We have some good size there. So, and our new kids in the skill positions, they're starting to catch on, and I've seen them get better and better each week. And, as well as our defense, I think our defense has really improved week to week. So we're excited about that. I think it's really nice for us. We're excited about being 6-0, but I think our kids think our best football is ahead of us.
Well, that's very encouraging with the playoffs yet to come, of course.
Absolutely. We talk about it all the time of playing hungry and practicing hungry and not being satisfied with where you're at. And I really believe this team gets that. So, there's not a lot of practice time left. The playoffs, they come so quick at the end here when you have that Friday night game, then a Wednesday night game, and then you're right into playoffs. So, we're trying to pound that into the kids that we only have, we're under 10 practices left in our season. So we need to make sure that we get something out of each and every practice.
Who are some of the guys that have stood out for you on defense?
It's been more of a team defense. We haven't really had any standouts. We've had kids that have played strong games, but it seems like it's kind of somebody steps up each game. And I think this overall as a team, we're improving. We've had issues with injuries and ineligibility, and we've got to play a lot of kids. So, that competition obviously brings better results. So the competition, I think, for spots has increased the level of play. And, there's really no one that's really to single out. It's just been a very good team defense.
How about on offense?
Like I said, our offensive line, I think, is where we hang our hat. And, we have some seniors that have been on there for 3 years, kids like Jaden Heisler and Brock Spalla and Casey Wadena. They're kind of our core group. Tyson MacArthur plays as a tight end. He's done a really good job. Lex McDougall is another kid. Dawson Darko, Carter Clark, that's our offensive line basically. And that's been, like I said, that's our bread and butter. Dennis Ashley is our quarterback, and this is his first year starting, and he's getting more comfortable, and he's run for over 100 yards in quite a few games. So it's just a good mix of kids. And, we're pretty simple on offense, but we're pretty effective.
You were talking a little bit ago about running short of practice time. or the number of practices. You've got a game against Monaga this week, regular Friday night game, and then you go to the short week for a game against a very good New York Mills team the following Wednesday.
Yeah, so we're excited about the schedule coming up. New York Mills was ranked number 2 in the state, and Monaga just knocked them off Friday night in a very good game. So we know the level of competition here these next 2 weeks is very strong, and I think that really helps the team as you get ready for the playoffs. You know, to play strong teams, you have those intense games that gets you ready for the playoffs. So we're excited about that. You know, the only down part with playing these really good teams is sometimes you can get beat up a little bit and some nicks and bruises and all that stuff. So, but we're really looking forward. You know, and it's a couple of teams that we haven't seen. I think we've only played Monaga one time. That was last year. And I think we've only played New York Mills one time in the last 15, 20 years. So always fun to see different teams and different schemes. And I think that forces your kids to learn as the game goes on. And we need to be better at that, is learning as the game goes on.
That short week is something that's part of Minnesota high school sports, the teachers' convention on Thursday and Friday and the game on Wednesday. So you've got a routine, I'm sure, for that short week, that shorter time to prepare.
Yeah, we know we kind of do the same thing. It just shortens up the week, and you walk through on Monday and you kind of get your plan in, and then you review that plan on Tuesday, and then you play on Wednesday. And, you know, there's not a lot of contact. There's not any hitting that goes on that week because you're playing that game. So, you know, it's a short turnaround, and you know, we kind of joke that at that time of year, the hay is in the barn, and you better have done your work ahead of time so that you're prepared for that last week.
And the playoffs still yet to come. How far do you think the Thunderbirds can go?
Well, we have a very competitive section this year. So, I mean, it's going to be a battle. You know, the top 4 teams have kind of separated themselves, I think. But any one of those 4, I think, and then, you know, you have some dangerous teams even at 5 and 6. So the first round is going to be interesting, and especially the semifinal round in the section. That's when it's going to get really interesting. So, you know, it just that time of year, you got to be hot. You got to be playing your best football, and you can move on. And it's going to be really tough this year, but you know, we're excited. I don't think we've played our best football yet, and we found a way to win games. So, you know, that bodes well for us. We just need to make sure we get our work done here, so we are playing our best football in the playoffs.
Well, we look forward to seeing the MAHNOMEN-WAUBUN Thunderbirds and what else they do this coming season. John, thank you so much and best of luck.
All right, thank you, Joe.
John Clark Jr., coach of the MAHNOMEN-WAUBUN Thunderbirds, will continue on the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com right after this.
Hillsborough Economic Development Committee provides information and support for small businesses. Experience Hillsborough. More at 104.
Joined now by Scott Roehrich, the coach of the Valley City Highliners, who are almost running roughshod through 11A football right now, 7-0 on the season, including a big win over Jamestown last week. Scott, talk about your season so far.
Well, it's been obviously a fun ride for us so far. We changed some things up from last year, running an offense I used to run, and it seems like we've got the personnel that to run that offense the way we want to. And so we've had some growing pains, and some maybe not say we have, but it's been a nice process for us. The guys have picked things up, and you know, we've been very fortunate. We've been able to stay away from injuries, and that's going to be a big thing for us. And you know, we've gotten some breaks. You talked about the Jamestown game. You know, we got all the breaks. So, to be honest with you, we had a kick return for a touchdown. We got a couple field goals. They turned the ball over 5 times. Pretty tough to win games when you turn the ball over 5 times. So, you know, we got some breaks, no question. But I was proud of the effort that our kids gave, and they've been seeming to get better, and they've stayed focused all year. And you know, hopefully we can finish up things strong the rest of the way too.
Now, the Jamestown game, I I believe there's a trophy involved there called the Iron Helmet. And you guys got that.
Well, I guess, it's usually somebody else's idea to have a traveling trophy type of thing. I'm not much into that sort of stuff, but I guess it's pretty neat for the kids. And, it's always a nice friendly rivalry with Jamestown, and most towns seem to have one. And I think it's not one of animosity. It's just it's a close team, and we play each other quite frequently in a lot of other sports. And I think it's just fun for the two communities as a whole.
It would seem that you guys are doing the job on defense. I see you haven't given up more than one touchdown in any single game this year.
And, part of that, I think, is credit to our offense, too. The offense that we run, we're kind of a grinded out, run the football and possess the ball, where you're just not going to get a lot of plays unless you possess it yourself. So if we can get a 3 and out on you, and we can control the football and score, it makes it pretty hard on your offensive team too. So I think we play very good complementary football with the offense we run, and how our defense has been able to set things up for us. And special teams have been good for us. So we've had a good year so far, and we're hoping that it continues.
Who have been some of the guys that have stood out for you this year?
Well, I look at our seniors. We don't have a lot of them. Gavin Gerhardt's a returning first-team All-State young man, running back and defensive back for us. Broden Muskie is a second-team All-State linebacker, plays on our offensive line, has done a great job. Brady Gassetti is another senior that's, just a bull down in there. And I would say Aiden Jacobson as well has been very consistent for us. He's a 2-year starter for us too. So a lot of our seniors that we've got playing for us have been playing for us for 2 years already. So they've got a lot of experience. And, those are the only ones that kind of come to my mind right now. But to just credit our seniors is one thing. We got 4 sophomores starting for us too. So we've got, a team that's going to have some kids coming back. And Ethan Miller's a junior, has done a great job. Zach Sikora is a junior. So we've got a nice group, and sometimes those guys that hold a lot of dummies or do a lot of scout squad stuff don't get a lot of credit, but they've done a great job in helping us with looks and things like that. And so you look at everybody's part. I just think everybody's done a great job. Everybody's from the top down.
Was there a game or a moment from earlier this season when you had a sense that this team could achieve what it has so far?
For me, I think it was the Dickinson game when we went out to Dickinson. I don't remember our record at that time, if we were 3-0 or 4-0, but we struggled a little bit. It was 0-0 at half, and we were moving the ball, but we weren't putting it in the end zone. I think sometimes when you get through some of the frustration that comes with that, you want to see how your kids are going to respond with adversity and frustration. And they kept their composure. They came out the second half. We continued to move the ball, and we finally were able to get some points on the board. So for me to see them kind of fight through some of that and deal with that, said, we got a chance. I said, we needed a game like this. And I thought that gave us, a good, pulse of our team going forward. So, and, it was a tough fought game with Jamestown when we played them too. The scoreboard was no indication of how close that game was. I think we might have ran twice as many plays as they did, partly because of turnovers in our offense too. So, it all kind of, it's added up to some tough games, and that's what we need too.
And now you've got 2 games left in the regular season, a trip to Grand Forks Central this week, and then a home game against Fargo South to finish up. How do you see those games?
Tough. I think scoreboard only tells part of the story. I mean, Central's got some very good athletes that we're going to have to make sure don't get loose on us. And Fargo South, has got some very good athletes too. And so, we're still going to have to play our brand of football. Not everybody plays that kind of brand of football, and maybe that's to our advantage, I think. But we certainly have got to be focused and continue to be ready to play each and every week. And hopefully that's where we can keep our focus and not get distracted by all the outside hype. And I understand that how this works too, because the only reason you're talking to me or calling me is because of what we're doing. It wouldn't happen any other season. So I've got to be able to make sure that I can keep things, where they belong for the kids as well too. So.
Well, we look forward to seeing how the Highliners do in 11A football. Scott, thank you very much for the time and best of luck the rest of the way.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, Joe.
Scott Roehrich, coach of the Valley City Highliners football team. We'll have more on the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show right after this.
Lee Brothers Sales, Highway 9 in Ada invites you to order your new Buick and Chevrolet vehicles. From the Silverado, Trailblazers, Traverse, and Enclave, Lee Brothers is your authorized Chevrolet and Buick dealer, providing sales and a service to the area since 1975. For ordering your vehicles, talk with Mitch, Smurf, or Jay. Trust the experts who know your vehicles best and take advantage of great Chevy certified service offers today. Lee Brothers Sales, Highway 9, Ada, 218-784-2000.
Hey, what you doing? Crawling around under my planter trying to figure out if I need any maintenance parts replaced. It's harvest time, buddy. Yeah, I know, but the guys at RDK Enterprises keep reminding me to check now, just in case I need something ordered. What do I look for? Just give RDK a call and ask some questions. They are the guys I go to for answers.
This is Chris from RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. We will answer all of your planter questions or come out to your farm and take a look at your planter. Give us a call, 701-636-2119 or planterdoc.com.
There's more at 104. Hillsborough, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsborough and see why there's more at 104.
Welcome back to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. Time to talk some volleyball. West Fargo Cheyenne off to a great start this season. We had a chance to talk with Leah Newton, their head coach.
Welcome back to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Joe Lancello and joined now by Leah Newton, the coach of the West Fargo Cheyenne Mustangs, who are undefeated as we record this. Leah, talk about your season. So that sounds like a great start.
It's been an amazing start. The girls have really punched in from the beginning of the season, worked really hard even prior to the season, and it's been great to see all the efforts that they've put forth pay off. Played some really great teams, some tough teams, and some close ones, but yeah, we've been able to pull through, and it's just been a really awesome start.
I see you have quite a few seniors on the roster. Has that been a big part of your team's success?
I do think it's important to have seniors, that experience, that leadership, that maturity. We have 8 great, awesome seniors, and they all provide something unique to our team, different styles, different types of leadership. And I just think it's really a bonus when you can have seniors in your program.
Who are some of the people that have stood out for you this year?
Oh gosh, there's been quite a few and some stepping up at really key moments, but I think we can start by talking about our returning outside hitters with Reagan Bogenreef and Kaylee Wasdorp. They're both 6 rotation players, returning starters from last year, and really count on them to kind of be our steady eddies, if you will, out there. They touch the ball quite a bit, and been really impressed with the improvements they've made from last year to this year even, and they are 2 of our 3 captains, so we asked them to do a little bit extra in that regards, and they've been having a great season all around.
What would you say the strong point of your team is?
I think we're really balanced. I think we have so many girls that can put the ball away. You know, we have Lexi Terhark on the right side, Chloe Brown. We have Izzy Albrecht and Callie Tungseth and Maya Blado in the middle. All of our girls are very good offensively, so we're pretty balanced, which is nice. And then we have our 2 setters that do such a great job at distributing the ball. We have Kennedy Coulter and Brooke Johnson, and they're returning starters as well. And they touch the ball probably more than anybody on the court when they're out there as setters, and they've been doing a good job with their choices, playing tough defense. And then we do have our 2 DSs with Mia Engel and Callie Dodds that have really helped anchor our back row play and our passing.
What do you think about the competition in Class A? Usually people will start with Bismarck Century, and justifiably so with their record of success over the years.
Yeah, Bismarck Century, I mean, they've built a reputation. They've had how many state championships the last several years? They're always competitive. They have that tough mentality. We faced them earlier this season at the beginning of the year and went in a tough match with them and were able to pull away with the win. And then we just faced them this weekend at the Fargo Invite and went 3 sets with them, and they snuck one out on us. So we did end up losing to them. But yeah, they're a great team. I would say they're one of the top teams in Class A. But I think also on the East in our conference, we have some tough teams with Fargo South, Fargo North, Davies, Shanley, West Fargo. So there's some really good competition across the board this year.
Who do you have coming up on your schedule?
Tonight we play Davies, and then on Thursday we play South. So those are 2 big matches for us this week. And we're really excited to see them again. We haven't seen them since the beginning of the season. So it'll be fun to kind of check in and see how they've improved and how we've improved and play some good teams.
Your girls getting some looks from college recruiters.
Yeah, actually, we have a couple of girls. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say 100% on their decisions yet, but we have a couple of girls that are looking to continue playing, which is really exciting. And I'm sure they'll announce that a little bit later on, or maybe they have and I missed it. But yeah, we do have a couple of girls interested in playing and have their places selected.
It's hard to know with all the different signing days nowadays.
Yes, yes.
Okay. West Fargo Cheyenne, a team to watch for in Class A volleyball in North Dakota. Leah Newton, the coach of the West Fargo Cheyenne Mustangs. Thanks very much and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate it.
Okay. More coming up on the Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com.
Hillsborough Economic Development Committee supports businesses in the Hillsborough community in the form of loans and grants. Experience Hillsborough. There's more at 104.
Welcome back to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show. Talking now with Alyssa Kasowki, the coach of the Central Cass Squirrels, ranked among the top 10 teams in the state of North Dakota in Class B. I had a chance to see your team the other night, and you looked really good in that game against Thompson.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a fun match, a match we were looking forward to. Obviously knew it was going to be a tough one. We've played them twice. Once at our tournament where they beat us 2-1, and then we played them down in DLB where we beat them 2-0. So we knew it was going to be a tough matchup, and Thompson really showed up and they challenged us all night long, and they came away with the victory.
You've got some really good athletes on your team. Deconte Smith certainly showed she can get up there and had a couple of really nice blocks the other night.
Yeah, Deconte is kind of one of those one-of-a-kind athletes that you get to coach. That she's an all-around player. She's one of just a couple that I have that play all 6 rotations. She's had a sub here and there for serving, but other than that, she doesn't leave the floor for me. She's spectacular in the front row. Her blocking really, it comes down to sometimes keeping us in matches. I mean, she not only can jump, she's just aggressive across the net. And when she hits that back roll, that aggressiveness doesn't stop.
And she's going to be playing in college next year?
Yeah, basketball at Northern State is where she will be playing. And like I've said before, she's fun on the volleyball court, but you have to see her on the basketball court as well.
Now, you were telling me before that she'd only begun playing volleyball as a freshman?
Correct. So she came in her freshman year, had never played. Again, a lot of our girls start in that 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade and never did. Her friends, I think, kind of talked her into it, and she came out. And as a coaching staff, we said, wow, when it clicks, this girl, she's going to be good. And each year she just progressively got better. And I would say the end of last year into this year, it's clicked. And it's just been an honor to be her coach and see that improvement year after year.
And another senior who's been doing well for you, or actually a couple of them, are the 2 Cotton girls, Claire and Delaney.
Yep, Claire and Delaney, twins. Both have been varsity starters for me for a couple years. Claire runs more on the outside. Delaney has typically been a right side for me. She's been getting a lot of middle swings. they're just fun to have on the floor. The amount of energy they bring for our team it's unmatched for anyone else. They don't stop. They work hard in everything they do, practice, school, basketball, volleyball. The amount of energy they have, it helps our team in those moments when we need that little extra push.
You've got a pretty good setter too in Kayla Gibson.
Kayla, yes, she started, last year was her first year as a varsity starter for me. This year, I had high expectations of Kayla, and she knew that coming in. I wanted her to run the floor offensively, and she's really come through for that for us. Not only is she a phenomenal setter, she's one of our top defenders. She reads the offense so well on the other side of the net. She's come up, she gets those big digs for us too.
Yeah, sometimes it winds up where the setter is the person who gets that initial dig. It's as opposed to somebody else in the back.
Yes, yep, and she does a lot of the time.
And somebody else who gets a lot of digs is Tori Richter, your libero.
Yep, Tori scored her she got 1,000 dig last season at the region tournament and has gone big since. She just works hard on the floor for us. If you really pay attention to what she does on the floor, she's calling out where our hitters are swinging. She's calling out to our hitters where the blocks are. She does not stop talking on the floor. She's the girl who will run into a wall to keep a ball alive for us. She sacrifices, and that libero spot is kind of, you don't get the big moments, but she definitely, her team recognizes how important she is back there.
Sounds like another coach on the floor.
She is. She really is. She really is. She is the one I will say one thing to, and she tells the rest of the team. If she sees the adjustment, she'll tell me. And sometimes I say, hey, you tell your teammates, you let them know. And I'm comfortable with Tori doing that.
Who have been some other people that have stood out for the Squirrel volleyball team this year?
We have Taylor Severson is a senior who's come in huge for us. A really big block and a really big swing. Taylor's a very strong girl. When she gets a hold of the ball, it's not always a kill, but more times than not, if she can see the floor, she's going to put the ball down. Grace Fletchalk is a junior DS for me who just is very smooth in the back row. Izzy Thompson is a freshman. Can't say enough good things about a freshman who can come in and kind of just fit in with a team that has played together now for a couple years. I could go on and on really about all of them. They all are such an intricate part of this team and why I think we've found the success that we've found.
21-7, I think, is the record going into the week, which is pretty solid. But again, you're in a pretty tough group with Mayport as well.
Yes. So we have Tri-State and Grafton this week, Kindred and Sargent County next week, and then the week after we have Richland, and we end our regular season with Mayport. And from a coaching standpoint, that's exactly what I'd want. I want that hard match going into the postseason play. And I at this point, I think the next best thing next best team we can play is definitely Mayport.
What do you see as the biggest challenges ahead for your team?
Right now, I think it's just finding that consistency on the floor. I've always said we have great team chemistry, which is wonderful to have, but at the same time, finding that consistency when we're winning to stay up, but also when we're winning to not let other teams get in our head a little bit. We need to stay aggressive no matter what, and we need just to kind of always remember to go back to the fundamentals.
Okay, we look forward to seeing the Central Cass Squirrel Volleyball on yourliveevent.com and the rest of the season. Alyssa Kasowki, thanks very much, and we'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Thank you.
Alyssa Kasowki with Central Cass Volleyball. We'll continue with the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on yourliveevent.com after this.
Harvest is here, and that means we all need to be careful. Hello, this is Bethany Rentz with IRE Insurance. We want to make sure everyone up and down the valley has a safe and successful harvest. Take extra special care in your travels. Slow-moving combines, mud-covered roads, and debris are just a few things during harvest that can be dangerous. So take your time, watch your surroundings, and most of all, be patient and slow down. For more harvest safety tips, go to IREINS.com.
You're protected and appreciated at IRE.
IRE Insurance is an equal opportunity provider.
In Hope, North Dakota, we aren't just a town, we're a community, one that you can be proud of, where you and your family can grow. With available jobs, affordable housing, a local golf course and pool, the Sportsman Club, and great educational opportunities, There hasn't been a better time to join the Hope community, ideally located between Fargo, Grand Forks, and Jamestown. For more information, go to www.hopend.com. Live, work, and play in Hope, North Dakota.
Buying a new home, but worried about the interest rate and terms from your bank? At First Class Mortgage, we'll find a mortgage that fits your needs. Shopping national banks and other lenders for the lowest rate and most affordable terms, saving you time and money. So all you need to worry about is enjoying your new home. First Class Mortgage, our expertise, your peace of mind. Put an expert to work for you. Call today.
A couple of champions were crowned in North Dakota last weekend. Andy Foss is the coach of the West Fargo boys soccer team as the Packers won the North Dakota soccer title. We'll start things off, though, with boys tennis and Josh Lunak, the coach of Grand Forks Red River.
Welcome back to the Hillsborough EDC, your live event coaches show. I'm Joe Lancello, and we're joined by Josh Lunak, the coach of the Grand Forks Red River Rough Rider boys tennis team, the state champions after the tournament this week. And in Minot, Josh, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's a great weekend.
Yeah, sounds like you've had quite the run this season. Talk about the guys in your team.
Yeah, so we now finally get to look back and relax and kind of enjoy the season. It was a great season. We ended up, we were start from the beginning. We were at the beginning of the year. We were kind of pegged as the favorites to win state, and you never know that feeling. You never. It gets, the pressure and how the kids are going to be able to handle that. But looking back, we can say that we did quite well, and we were able to finish the team tournament and win the team tournament this past Thursday, and do it in a very good fashion. We ended up throughout the year. We won 115 tennis matches in our dual matches, and we lost 5 matches overall. So we did quite well. The guys really embraced that, having that, that bullseye on their back as being the favorite, and they were able to use that as motivation and really have a productive year. And go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds like having the bullseye was deserved, because 3 of your guys were in the top 6 when it came to individual singles, and you also had a doubles team that finished 3rd.
Yeah, we were pretty deep. We knew that, and we had 3 good players at the top that could make a run at the state title. We had one of the favorites to win state, Espen Schneider, at number 1 singles. We had Kellen Johnson, our number 2 singles, who ended up getting 3rd place in EDC and 6th place at state. And then our number 3 player got 4th at EDC, but had a great weekend this past weekend and finished his career and got 3rd place at state. So he was our number 3rd singles player, and he got 3rd place at the state tournament individuals.
That would be Sailor Kunzel?
Yep, Sailor Kensel.
Okay. And then you had a doubles team that also finished 3rd at state.
Yeah, Luke Beadall and Asher Green really had a great tournament this past weekend. They got 6th place in EDC, so they qualified for the state tournament, and then they upset the number 2 team from the East, the Valley City team, to make the semifinals to place in the top 4. They lost a tough 3rd set match to the number 1 team out west in Mandan, and then they ended up rebounding and taking 3rd place and beating a Fargo South team for 3rd. So that was a nice. I'm not going to say it was a surprise. I knew we had a chance there, but very positive way to end the season for that doubles team.
Did you have the same guys in the same spots all year long?
No, we really mixed things up pretty good. So if you're familiar with North Dakota tennis, we do a 3-2 for the playoffs. So we play 3 singles and then 2 doubles, and you can only play one or the other. So you end up playing a total of 7 players total. And what we did is we went with our number 1 singles, Espen. Number 2 singles, we went with Kellen Johnson, who's our number 2 player. And then at 3 singles, we ended up going with our number 6 singles, which is Carson Skarprud. And he had a very, very great postseason, going 6-0 at 3 singles with a lot of blowout wins. So he did really, really well for us.
How many of these kids are you going to have back for next year?
Yeah, so we'll have 5. We'll lose 2 seniors along with our number 10 player. So we're going to lose Sailor Kensel at number 3 singles, our number 3 singles player. We're going to lose the other one will be Carson Scarper, who I just talked about, who also played 3 singles in the postseason, but he was our number 6 singles player. And then we also, at our number 2 double spot, we played Tig Murphy, who was our number 10. He was also a senior that did end up playing for us as well. So we'll lose 3, but we should have a pretty solid squad next year as well.
How good is high school tennis in North Dakota? How would you say? How strong would you say it is?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty strong. I think, as far as the play goes, I think there's teams that are highly competitive. There, for the most part, I wanted to say there was 8 solid teams this year. But as the smaller schools, sometimes it can be a little tricky to field a deep squad. So we were lucky to have a deep squad this year as well.
You have guys who pretty much kind of concentrate on tennis alone. That's the only sport they play.
We actually, this year, this squad, we had a lot of athletes. So a lot of multi-sport athletes. I think maybe 1 or 2 specialize in tennis, but for the most part, we've got a bunch of hockey players that play for Red River High School hockey. We've also got a couple lacrosse, or we have 1 lacrosse player as well. Some golfers. So some players that play multiple sports, not too many that specialize in just tennis for this squad.
Well, that's nice that you get kids that will play a lot of different things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And you got bragging rights not only for North Dakota, but certainly for the city of Grand Forks, too.
Yeah. So, when looking back, we thought Grand Forks Central is the 2-time defending champion. And I always looked at them because they have 2 really, really good players as probably being one of our top threats to take us down this year with just their experience, but also their having two top players in the state. They ended up not making state just because of their depth was a little bit down this year. But they usually are one of our top competitors.
You've got a pretty good legacy of your own. This is now 28 state championships for the Rough Riders.
Yeah, it's 28. So if you remember the streak, I want to say of 16 straight, I played on the first and second of those years. So 1998 and 1999 was my junior and my senior year when we started the streak of the team championships. So it's kind of nice. Maybe it's kind of nice to have the players experience that state title. And, as a former player, I know that feeling and something that will last a lifetime.
Well, congratulations, Josh Lunak, and your Grand Forks Rough Rider tennis players as state champions in North Dakota.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
We'll have more on the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show right after this.
Live, work, and play here in Hillsborough, North Dakota. The Hillsborough Economic Development Committee can assist you with information and support for business and housing. Experience Hillsborough. More at 104.
Welcome back to the Hillsborough EDC, your live event coaches show. Going to talk about champions now. We have the coach of the North Dakota State Boys Soccer Champions, Andy Foss, with us. West Fargo winning the title last weekend. And a little bit of drama there, I understand, too, in the second overtime period to get the victory.
Yeah. We waited just about as long as we possibly could before we had to do a shootout. So, a little bit of drama, but, the guys played hard all the way through. And I think they just had that little bit of energy kick right there at the end. And we were able to put a goal in and celebrate a championship.
And to beat a Fargo Davies team that in that championship game had a 35-game unbeaten streak going in.
Yeah. Davies is extremely talented. They're well coached. They have all kinds of top end talent. But our guys, we played them twice during the regular season, and the second time we gave them a pretty good game. They scored with just a couple minutes at the end of the game to beat us 2-1. But we had a pretty good game plan. in that game, and we took that and put it into play in the championship game. And the guys tweaked it a little bit throughout the game and just kind of read some cues that Davies was doing throughout the game, and they executed it so well. We had one last training session last night, and we just kind of talked a little bit again about how well they played and put our system into play. And then throughout the game, they just kind of figured some things out on their own to really shut down Davies' attack and give us opportunities to score game-winning goals. So, all the credit goes to our guys and how hard they worked and how well they read the game.
Now, you guys, I think, opened the scoring against them too, which I'm sure will cause some changing around of people's game plans.
Yeah, we got that early one. And like I told the forum when they were interviewing me after the game, I think that sent a little bit of a message. Just kind of like, we're here to come and play. Just to give our guys a little bit of confidence too. Like, hey, we can do this. This is for all the marbles, and that first early goal, I think again really just sent kind of a message to not only them but to our guys, like, hey, we can do this and we can win this game.
That was Bernard Musafiri, if I'm saying that right, who got the first goal for you. Yep. And then talk about the winner. That it was Ibrahim Bangura that scored the winner in the overtime.
Yeah. It's funny. We were joking about it last night, and we've kind of joked about it throughout the season. A lot of the times before our practices, those guys they'll just sit there and hit crosses in, and not many times do they hit a wide open net. They usually don't even have a goalie, and they're sending crosses in, and we can't finish anything before those practices. So it's kind of funny that the state title winning goal comes off of a cross. Andrew Knudsvig was able to keep that ball kind of in our attacking third and sent a great ball across. John Gafua got ahead on it, and he didn't have a very good angle to score himself. So he made the unselfish play of just heading that ball back across the box, and Ebe was just sitting there in all kinds of space. And he would have had to try pretty hard to actually miss that, because he was sitting in the exact right spot that he should have been. And yeah, he finally buried one. He's had a couple of those chances throughout the year, and unfortunately came up a little bit short, but he picked a great time to put one in the back of the net and give us that championship.
Tell me about the guys who were big factors in your state championship run.
Yeah, I got this question after the game too. I don't know that I can pick, honestly, just a handful of them. Like the entire starting lineup, and then we had a couple of guys coming off the bench that they just did their jobs. We have guys that our back line, I don't know that we subbed three out of those four guys out. They played the entire tournament. Eli Svenby, Desire Nasiri, and Andrew Knudsvig. And then we rotated a Hayden Pritchard and Mo Bangura at the other spot. Give those guys credit. Tony Loria, our goalkeeper, only let in one goal the entire tournament. 3 games, 3 state tournament teams playing against, he only gave up 1 goal. That was an absolutely incredible performance by him. And I think a kid like Isaac Fitz, one of our defensive center midfielders, does so many things that nobody notices, but the coaches all see how important what he does for our team. And the end of the first half of that championship game, he did a number on his ankle and his foot, and there was really a question on if he was going to be able to play in the second half and ultimately in the overtimes too. But, our trainer did a great job working with him to get him ready to go. And he played the last 15 minutes of regulation and then both overtimes on a busted up ankle and foot. And that's, I don't know that anybody else in the state would have been able to do what he did. But then our attacking lines are, our Johnny Putnam, our John Gafua, our E. Bangura, our Bernard Musafiri, all those guys were just so important to us all year long. And in the tournament, they really just did their jobs and did it well. And that allowed us to bring home that title. Sounds like it was a great championship game. And I'm guessing you had
a couple of good close games too with Bismarck and Minot. I think those are both 1-0 in the earlier rounds at state.
Yeah. Those first two games, they were a little chilly for us. They were probably the two coldest games that we've had to play this year. But aside from playing just really, really good teams, it was also cold because we played the last game of the day both those days. So it was even colder than earlier in the day for those teams. But yeah, Bismarck High again. They're a tough-nosed team, organized and they're physical and they just play a good brand of soccer. And so it took a lot for our guys to get through that one. And we talked about we just kind of grinded through that one and did what we needed to advance to the next round. And then, we played a really, really good Minot team that made us look pretty silly for the first about 25-30 minutes of that game before our guys finally settled into that game and get our rhythm going a little bit. So those first two games were really, really tough tests for us to see kind of how we could handle that adversity. And I think our guys ultimately showed that we were able to deal with it and then move into that championship game where I talked to Ian after the game against Davies and said, it's a little bit easier for me to say since we came out on top, but I thought that was just a fantastic game all around. Davies is so good and so talented, and they gave us everything that they had, and we gave them everything that we had. And, I think going back after a couple of weeks or so here and just I can rewatch that game and just see just a great game of soccer in that championship game.
Sounds like a good advertisement for high school soccer in North Dakota.
Oh, definitely. I think we had a giant crowd too. We were hosting the tournament at West Fargo High School, and the students showed up. The students showed up and gave us a great atmosphere. I know Davies had a good student section there, and then all the parents and fans and family members. My parents came up from Bemidji, and my sister surprised me coming up from the cities. And, just a lot of people were there to enjoy a great game. And, yeah, both teams just put on a great show. And like you said, it was a great advertisement for how far along the game of soccer in North Dakota has come.
West Fargo can use the soccer chant, "We are the champions," when it comes to North Dakota boys soccer. Andy Foss, thanks very much, and congratulations on the win.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll continue with the Hillsboro EDC Coaches Show on yourliveevent.com in just a moment. That's going to do it for this edition of the Hillsboro EDC Coaches Show on yourliveevent.com. Next week, we'll be talking more high school football. The playoffs really getting starting in North Dakota. The 9-man playoffs will start this weekend. Next week, it'll be Class B that gets underway. We'll talk to some coaches there, certainly for sure. And also Minnesota's regular season high school football will wrap up, and we'll have volleyball, cross country. If they're playing, we'll have it on here on the Hillsboro EDC Coaches Show here on yourliveevent.com. I'm Joe Lancello. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
This has been the Your Live Event Coaches Show, presented by the Hillsboro Economic Development Committee.